Well, good afternoon, and if you're watching this, you know it is a smart investing briefing that we do every Friday. And today we're talking about what is autonomous driving worth. The reason for that is Waymo, who is owned by Alphabet, is perhaps there's talk that they could go publicly, so to speak. And what's amazing is they're estimated to be worth as much as $100 billion. It's just a crazy, crazy valuation.
Yeah, and there's a lot that goes into this whole autonomous thing. I think there's still a lot of unknowns. So I think the $100 billion, I think it's still a little premature to value it that high. Kind of one thing that they're looking at that Waymo could do, well, they could undercut the price of Uber and Lyft by about 25%. So that's a pretty big drop in the price of transportation, which is great for the consumer.
Yeah, great for the consumer. Not so good how it is for Uber or Lyft. And also, too, do want to talk about Waymo at $100 billion. Actually, General Motors is worth $51 billion. Tesla's worth $52 billion. So they're saying it's worth twice as much as those two companies, which is kind of amazing.
Especially when, sorry to cut you off there, but especially when General Motors has its own autonomous kind of program that is actually doing quite well.
Cruise is that name, yeah. So, and I am kind of wondering with the Uber and Lyft, how much that's going to cost them. Again, being undercut by 25%. They're saying that by 2022, that's correct. They're looking for $1 billion of revenue. By 2025, they're expecting to jump to $10 billion in revenue.
And where's that revenue coming from? Well, if you look here, part of it, of course, output of 2040, 16 million robo-taxis at 70 cents per mile. Of course, they're going to start putting those on the road. That's where some of the revenue is going to come from. But the other thing people, I think, aren't thinking about, well, think about Postmates. Think about Uber Eats. Think about DoorDash now. The delivery of food and other goods, that alone, they believe, could add $90 billion worth of value to Waymo services.
Well, that's just for the delivery of the food.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, but the other is about 80 billion. So combined, you're at about 170 billion. And I'm just kind of visualizing this in 2040. You're going to have all these cars running around with food in them and no people. It's going to be weird looking. It's going to be like, the future. I guess it is a future.
And that's one reason we think this $100 billion is way more than we think it's worth, because there's a lot of things that can happen now in the 2040.
Say way more or way mo? Way more than it's worth. All right, well, that wraps it up. I hope to see you in a driverless car in the future.